So guys, Claude Cowork alone, as well as a few other tools, save me probably $10,000 to $20,000 a month. And that is direct income that these AI tools materially save me each and every month, and also more growth that drives this YouTube channel. And I make a lot of videos about AI on this channel, about all these new tools that are coming out and old ones that I like. But I've realized I've never really shared a material way or a business where these tools are actually put to work to drive productivity gains and save on cost, whether things like headcount or just personal time that you get back. And so I thought the best example to just sit down and talk about for a few minutes would be this YouTube channel and the massive amount of work that is now completed by AI and drives things like sponsorships and also actual video creation. And so what I want to accomplish in the next few minutes is share with you the exact, I think 4, maybe we'll cover 5 ways in which I use specifically Claude Cowork and then a few other tools as well to run a large part of this YouTube business. And again, this saves me probably $10,000 to $20,000 a month in terms of what it would cost me to directly hire people to do the work that AI now does instead. And so this will be a little bit of a different video than normal. We're not going to look at a platform. I just want to get across an example of these AI tools actually put to work and how it materially benefits you or your business. That in mind, let's go. Okay guys, now before we continue, I want to share something that I've been looking into for a minute now, and that's quantum computing. Now, we've all seen what AI has done to the markets and the world at large over the past few years, but what could be the next wave of computing that people aren't thinking about today is quantum computing. And the reason for that is simple. There's this whole array of extremely commercially valuable applications that even the most powerful classical computers today and modern AI systems just can't solve. That's things like simulating how molecules behave for drug discovery, designing new battery materials, optimizing complex logistical systems, and even powering and creating new advanced AI models. So quantum computing today is being developed to crack those commercially valuable use cases. And that's why I want to highlight the company behind the sponsor of today's video, and that is Xanadu, which is going public through a merger with Crane Harbor Acquisition Corp, or ticker CHAC on the NASDAQ. Now, most quantum computers use superconducting circuits that need to be cooled to near absolute zero, so colder than outer space. But Xanadu uses photons, or particles of light, to carry quantum information, and that is a fundamentally different approach, and it means their systems can operate much closer to room temperature, and critically they can scale by networking multiple quantum processors together, kind of like connecting building blocks. Now, they've already built a system called Aurora, which is the world's first networked modular scalable quantum computer. So instead of trying to build one massive machine, Xanadu connects these smaller processors together into a network, and they've proven that it actually works with peer-reviewed research. And also the partnerships for Xanadu are really impressive. They're working with Rolls-Royce on simulating jet engine airflow. They're also collaborating with Lockheed Martin on quantum machine learning. And this is cool. Literally today, on the day I'm recording this, Xanadu and AMD announced a breakthrough where they ran hybrid quantum classical aerospace simulations on AMD's high-performance compute infrastructure. And together they slashed simulation time by 25x, which is insane, and semiconductors. And these guys have also built the leading quantum software platform, and that's called PennyLane, which is used by 47% of quantum programmers, according to a recent industry survey with over 200,000 monthly downloads. And so the SPAC values Xanadu at a $3.1 billion valuation, and that's with about $500 million in gross proceeds coming in. Also, 90% of the PIPE capital came from new strategic and institutional investors, and that includes companies like AMD, BMO Global Asset Management, and CIBC Asset Management. So really smart money here. So to recap our little foray into quantum and Xanadu, we have the first pure-play photonic quantum compute company going public with this unique technological approach. We have blue chip partnerships across aerospace, defense, and government, and also a dominant software platform and a lot of smart money and investors involved. So if you want to learn more about Crane Harbor Acquisitions and Xanadu, I'll leave a link to their investor website in the description. And the ticker again is CHAC on the NASDAQ exchange. Always do your own due diligence and you can see if this is a fit for your investment thesis. That in mind, this video was sponsored on behalf of CHAC. Let's get back to it. Also, we got stuck here at a random Hilton and the people let me use this room to film, which is super nice of them. So shout out to this Hilton in Mackenzie, You're the best. So the first big way that AI helps in this business specifically is through email management. What you can do is connect Claude Cowork to your Gmail. You can do this with some other AI tools as well. And so when you have something like a YouTube channel, you get a lot of inbound traffic. A lot of that is from sponsors, a lot of it is spam, a lot of it is people. And what Cowork can do is it can filter through all of these emails. It can pull out relevant, say, sponsor emails, and then it can confirm, okay, this is the to-do list for today. These are the 5 deals that are stuck at this point in the pipeline that you need to work on. And then it can even go ahead and respond to a lot of those emails because it's been trained, if you set this up correctly, on this whole few years of history as far as those kind of conversations go. So it knows what to ask for, it knows what you need, and it can tell me how to do my job better in responding to those emails or what I need to focus on, and do the same for other people involved, whether a manager or the agencies or the companies on the other side of that exchange. Number 2, and this is a really big one, is outlining and scripting for videos. And this is another example of why training is so valuable, and I think this applies to pretty much every business or entrepreneur out there. Whereas in the case of outlining videos, right, this is something that you have to do for every single video you make. It's like a 3 to 6 page document that details what the video is, the proposed thumbnail, the proposed title, and then you script either a small amount, just a high level outline, or word for word the entire video along with things like the description, the visuals you want, all that kind of information bundled into a document. And to do that manually takes anywhere from 20 minutes up to 2 hours of work. And on this channel, if you're putting out 20 videos a month, that's, 10 hours a week right there of work. But at some point we had a very large catalog of human written outlines and scripts built up. You're talking multiple hundreds. And so what we did at some point was just take those scripts, plug them into Claude Cowork. And so what we did at some point was take those scripts, plug them into a project in Claude, and then we can just feed project briefs or ideas into it, and it'll come up with the outline, the proposed thumbnails and titles based on the channel history, and so on. And that right there saves 5 to 10 hours a week of human labor. And there's still some human touch you want to put into that, especially if it's something like scripted word for word, which very few videos on this channel are. But overall, that cut probably 70 to 90% of the human labor involved in that step of the process, which on its own directly saves 3 to 5 grand a month in payroll. That's number 2. Number 3 isn't Claude Cowork as much, but that's a tool called AutoCut in Premiere Pro. And that has all these AI systems that do a few things. Number 1, they remove silences. Number 2, they remove bad takes. And then number 3, they do things like zoom or kind of little edits on videos. And tools like that are an incredible time saver. A lot of that is shifting more and more into AI, and the editing cost that replaces is another 3 to 5 grand a month in direct payroll that I no longer have to pay. And number 4, this is another Claude Cowork one, is everything on the analytics side of things. Now, there's a few different kind of tools that I use here, and the biggest one there relates to analytics. And so Claude Cowork or desktop can actually control your browser. It can do things in your browser, which is amazing. And so what we have Claude do is go to the analytics of the channel, look through every video, and then see what thumbnails are performing or not performing over a given time period. And then it'll come up with a list that says, these are the 5 videos that you need to make new thumbnails on because they're not performing. And given split tests that are run in recent videos, over time, it just tells you, hey, these are where you're underperforming. This is what you need to work on a pretty regular basis. So there are plenty of other little ways where AI is helpful. I would say those are 4 of the big ones. And I think the common pattern here that is most applicable to you, regardless of the business that you work in, is take a defined process, something like outlining, where it's roughly the same every time for following the same principles. Take the historical work that you or your team has done as a human, and then train the AI on that, and then just replace that process in some given workflow with that new AI that's been trained on this human done work. And that leads me into the final 2 thoughts that I want to communicate here. And number 1 is just spend more time sharpening the axe, so to speak. At least in our business, right? A lot of the improvements just came from actually asking a question that wasn't asked before of, hey, can we do this better? Can we do this with AI? Is it possible to automate this? A lot of time it wasn't me asking that question because I was so used to doing the work that I didn't even think, hey, we could do this in a different or better way. And it took someone else yourself saying, hey, why do you do that manually? Or you can use this tool to do that to actually realize, hey, I didn't question my assumption, and that assumption cost me a massive amount of time or money. So if that's helpful for you, right, just sit down and think through all the parts of your business, of your workflow, of your work on a day-to-day basis and think, hey, can this be done with AI? And the answer more often than you think, especially if you use all the tools that we talk about on this channel and beyond, is yes. And the more you can get into the rhythm of that, of questioning, hey, why is this done with this way? Can we use these cutting edge, these frontier tools to make some kind of improvement here? Maybe not full automation, but support it in some way. Then I think you start to compound these productivity gains really quickly, and that can start to really make a difference in your work. And the second idea, again, is, hey, and the second idea I want to close with is just these tools do really make a difference on the ground. Part of the reason that my stance is, hey, AI in terms of the long run outcome is not a bubble. You can have a valuation bubble, but AI in of itself as a technology is not a bubble, is how powerful these tools can be in really just saving you time, right? One day, your workday takes you 8 hours, you make this switch, you implement this tool, now it's down to 5 hours. That is 3 hours of your day you got back, and that applies in so many situations and businesses. I've seen it myself in the case of this YouTube channel, I've seen it across agencies, I've seen it across multi-billion-dollar corporations. That is what we're driving toward when we talk about AI and tools and productivity on this channel. And if that's not a world you come from, just take the step, try the tools, really think about, hey, can this be done in a better way? And I promise that your life, your company, and you yourself will thank you for it. And that in mind, I appreciate y'all being here. I'm gonna get out of here for the Hilton, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.